My people, listen carefully. True progress, the kind that lasts for generations, does not come from outsiders. It does not fall from the sky. It does not arrive through foreign aid, flashy promises, or temporary projects. It comes from within, from the discipline, unity, and shared determination of a nation's own people. Today, West Africa is showing us exactly what that kind of homegrown development can look like. Two nations, Ghana and Burkina Faso, recently made a historic decision that seems small on the surface, but is enormous in its implications. They have agreed to remove roaming charges starting November 2025. At first glance, this may appear as just a minor telecom policy. Yet for everyday people, especially those living along the borders, it is transformative. Farmers, traders, students, and families who cross between Ghana and Burkina Faso can now stay connected without fear of exorbitant fees. No longer must travelers buy temporary SIM cards or turn off their phones to avoid shockingly high bills. This change is more than convenience. It is a return to unity, a subtle but meaningful step toward restoring connections that colonial borders had torn apart decades ago. Long before Europeans arrived on African soil, the continent was connected in ways that modern borders rarely reflect. People moved freely across lands, sharing cultures, languages, trade, and ideas. Tribes, clans, kingdoms, and villages thrived together without passports or permission. Trade routes spanned vast distances, marriage alliances crossed natural boundaries, and culture flowed organically from one region to another. Then came colonization. Europeans, sitting in faraway capitals, drew arbitrary lines on maps, lines that ignored centuries of human connection. One tribe could be split between two nations. Unrelated groups could be forced into a single, artificial country. These borders were not created for Africans. They were created to protect European interests while they extracted resources, ensuring their powers did not fight one another over land and wealth. Today, the consequences remain. A person in Burkina Faso may speak the same language as someone in Ghana just across the border, yet even simple communication was once difficult and expensive. Calling family members, coordinating trade, or sending emergency messages required paying extra just because a line on a map divided them. This is why the Ghana-Burkina Faso roaming agreement matters so much. It is an act of reclaiming natural connection, a step toward restoring bonds that existed long before colonial powers imposed artificial borders. If other African nations follow this example, communication will become cheap, easy, and accessible. And step by step, the continent can move closer to the unity it once knew. Unity, however, is only one piece of the puzzle. True development requires discipline, responsibility, and a shared commitment to progress. In Burkina Faso, one of the government's modern initiatives focuses on fish farming, a practical, sustainable, and forward-thinking approach to increase food security, create jobs, and stimulate local economies. Large nets are placed in rivers and lakes, creating protected cages where fish can grow safely. This method protects fish from predators, maximizes yield, and provides reliable income for farmers who invest their time, energy, and resources. Yet even the best-laid plans are vulnerable without responsible citizens. Some individuals have sabotaged these projects, breaking nets under the cover of night and stealing fish. Others have gone as far as swimming underwater to disable security cameras before committing theft. The stolen fish are sold cheaply in local markets, undercutting honest farmers and threatening the entire project's sustainability. This is not just petty crime. It is sabotage of national development. A single act of greed can destroy months of labor, discourage farmers, and slow economic progress. To protect these initiatives, Burkina Faso established the Labal Brigade, a special unit focused not on traditional law enforcement, but on safeguarding development and promoting disciplined behavior. The Labal Brigade is tasked with monitoring public projects, investigating sabotage, and enforcing rules that protect communities. When fish farms were repeatedly vandalized, they installed surveillance systems, patrolled vulnerable areas, and apprehended offenders. Their message was clear. Stealing from a community project is stealing from your own children's future. But their work extends far beyond fish farming. The brigade also enforces community order, ensuring that societal habits support development rather than hinder it. Across many African towns and cities, late-night noise has become a silent obstacle to progress. Bars, restaurants, outdoor music venues, and even street gatherings often play music until early morning. Families living just meters away struggle to sleep. Students preparing for exams wake up exhausted. Working adults arrive tired at their jobs, and elderly residents suffer constant disruption. Burkina Faso recognized that peaceful nights are essential for productive days. The government introduced strict rules. Businesses without proper licenses must turn off loud music by 10 p.m., and even licensed venues cannot disturb neighbors after 11 p.m. The Labal Brigade ensures compliance. Officers visit venues at night, speak politely but firmly with owners, and if rules are ignored, stronger enforcement measures follow. Quiet communities are healthier, safer, and more productive, proof that order is a necessary foundation for development. Religion plays a central role in African life, offering spiritual guidance, moral direction, and community cohesion. Yet in many neighborhoods, unregulated churches have become a source of disorder. On some streets, 10 to 20 small churches may operate in homes, garages, or unfinished buildings. Services often continue overnight, blasting loud music from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. Neighbors who complain are sometimes accused of being anti-faith, even when their only desire is peace and rest. Countries like Rwanda have tackled this problem decisively. More than 5,000 unregulated churches were shut down for failing to meet safety, sound, and leadership standards. Buildings must be safe. Pastors must have proper training. Noise must be controlled. The principle is simple. Faith should bring peace, not chaos. Burkina Faso is adopting similar measures, ensuring that religious practice aligns with community welfare. Responsible churches thrive, communities rest, and society as a whole benefits. Another critical threat to African development is illegal drugs. Hidden drug activity can destabilize communities, destroy youth futures, and increase crime. In Burkina Faso, the Labal Brigade actively searches for concealed drug-selling operations, sometimes located in holes in walls, behind shops, or in other secret spaces. When drug-related equipment is discovered, it is immediately confiscated. Even business owners in proximity are held accountable, because ignoring the problem allows it to grow. The brigade encourages citizens to report suspicious activity, emphasizing that community vigilance is vital. Without discipline and proactive enforcement, even the best infrastructure and economic initiatives can fail. A nation cannot flourish if its youth are poisoned by drugs or if neighborhoods are unsafe. Many people think development is about money, technology, or grand buildings. In reality, development begins with behavior. Roads can be built, but if they are damaged intentionally, the benefits disappear. Markets can be established, but if traders cheat or disrupt, commerce suffers. Policies can exist, but if citizens ignore them, progress is delayed. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about cultivating responsibility. It is about creating a culture in which people understand the long-term benefits of good behavior, for themselves, their families, and their communities. Burkina Faso's recent actions provide a clear blueprint. Protect public investments, like fish farms, from sabotage. Maintain quiet and safe neighborhoods, ensuring citizens can work, study, and rest. Regulate faith practices to balance religious freedom with community well-being. Crack down on illegal drugs to protect youth and public safety. When these principles are applied together, development accelerates. Investors arrive, businesses grow, families feel safe, communities thrive. Discipline becomes the engine of progress, turning potential into tangible results. Unity and discipline are not abstract ideals. They are practical necessities. Ghana and Burkina Faso's roaming agreement symbolizes the importance of connection. Burkina Faso's Labal Brigade illustrates that growth depends not only on money and projects but on behavior. Rwanda's church regulations show that faith can coexist with societal order. Each of these steps demonstrates that development is holistic. It is a combination of policy, enforcement, culture, and community participation. Africa's greatest challenge is not the scarcity of resources, but the choices its people make every day. A society that respects rules, protects its investments, maintains order, and cares for its citizens lays the foundation for prosperity. A society that ignores discipline or allows chaos to flourish sabotages its own future. Unity brings connection. Discipline brings development. Together they bring a stronger, more resilient Africa. Africa's future is not written in the hands of outsiders. It is written in the daily choices of its own people. It is in the farmer who protects his fish. It is in the shop owner who respects noise limits. It is in the pastor who regulates worship responsibly. It is in the parent who discourages children from harmful behavior and the neighbor who reports wrongdoing. The continent's progress depends on small daily acts of responsibility. Each act builds on the last, creating a society that is stronger, safer, and more prosperous. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is empowerment. It is the key that unlocks the potential of nations. Unity and discipline together lay the path toward long-term, self-sustaining development. Africa has the resources, the culture, and the history of resilience. The missing ingredient is consistent, collective responsibility. If citizens, communities, and governments embrace discipline and unity, they will not only survive, they will thrive. This is the new path of African progress. A path where people, not outsiders, drive their destiny, where connection and cooperation replace division, where behavior and accountability form the foundation of prosperity. Africa's future is being built today, in every choice, every rule followed, every project protected, and every voice that acts in the interest of the community. And when this happens, no barrier, colonial or otherwise, can stand in the way of real progress. Africa's progress is not a dream, it is a choice. And it starts now.